All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Ricardo, how are you?
Good, Mike. How are you?
Good. Good to see you, my friend. Glad to have
Yes.
you back. Always a treat. How are we all doing out there tonight, ladies and gentlemen? Having a good time? Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Did everybody cash in on your college loans? You know, you're getting the $10,000, but it's going to cost everybody $2,000 a piece,
Yeah.
whether you went to college or not. So that's awesome. At least we got that going for us.
Oh, my God.
You know what I mean? And all of you that paid off your college loans last year, well, sorry.
Yeah. It's like,
You're screwed, you know?
it's
You
like,
got all these kids, yeah.
yeah, I tell my wife, like, it doesn't matter because I'm screwed because I got the loans when I was an international student. So it's like,
So you're not even covered.
nope,
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
it's all right.
It's just, it's all just such a joke anyways. We're never going to pay back the national debt.
No.
Ricardo and I were just watching the national debt. Wasn't that something? You want to talk about a trip? Well, we got all kinds of latency going on here, too.
Yeah.
We got all kinds of lag. What the hell's up with that?
I have no idea.
We're having problems here, man. That ain't good.
I mean, it's good here.
Yeah, it's good here, but
yeah.
it's not looking that good up there. At least we got a delay. Maybe that's what. Maybe we shouldn't even watch this up here.
Yeah.
That's probably not a good idea. Let's just go somewhere else. We'll just get out of there. I don't know. I was just going to pull the stats up. But, you know, hopefully everything's working. If it's
Yeah.
not, if it's not, I don't know. Send Ricardo a text message. And yell at him.
Oh.
Leave me alone. The hell
That's
if,
all right.
Hell if I know. I don't know, man. It's just we've been having fun.
Yeah.
You know, it's like one thing after another.
Oh, my gosh.
The audio looks okay. I was just trying to pull up the stats to see what the stats say, because that's usually
Yeah.
what will give us the, you know, the info, and that's on our settings, I believe. And so we got for video. Oh, we don't even have anything showing up there. That's not right. That's not good. Yeah, this might be one of those deals.
Yeah.
Stream delay. Okay, I got a 10-second delay going on it. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just an idiot. Where's our stupid statistics at? I'm trying to remember that. There should be a place to put those up. Multi-view. I don't know. God and baby Jesus, help us all.
It's all right.
I think it'll be fine, I guess. If it is, it is. If it isn't, sorry.
Yeah.
Not sorry. You know, I don't know what to say. I do not know what to say.
We tried.
We are
here,
trying. We are trying. That's about all we can do. I don't know why it's, you know, I used to have no source selected here. Okay. Why not? Why doesn't it have a source selected? I don't know. Well, we'll see. Maybe it's working, maybe it's not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess we got no, because we got no YouTube tonight, and you're just stuck with us. Anyway, we were looking at everything going on.
Oh my God. And
You know, what a fiasco this country's in.
yeah.
I mean, we've got them, you know, basically just throwing the Fourth Amendment down the trash with this whole thing with Donald Trump. Like him or leave him, hate him, love him, I don't care.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you know, they revoked his executive privilege, okay? Biden did that.
Yeah.
And he told the FBI that he had done that and that he didn't care. And so today they asked him, well, did you have any advance notice? And if you'd notice the way he responded, he said, No, absolutely, I didn't have any advance notice, none whatsoever. So he worded it to say, well, I wasn't even here. You know, that was a get at it. It was a crafty way, and they told him to do that.
Yeah.
I bet you on his teleprompter that shit was highlighted, making sure that he used those words, because that gives him, you know, whatever. I'm trying to think of the term for that. It basically gives him a get out of jail free card on. He's like, well, you said advance notice.
Yeah.
I didn't. You know, I wasn't even around. I was down riding my bicycle.
Yeah, in Delaware.
Yeah, standing on my bicycle. They ought to just get that guy a stationary bike, get him one of those Pelotons where, you know, I mean, that's what I'd be, if I was one of his staffers or somebody that had any, I mean, I'd be like, dude, you ain't riding that bike around anymore. Nope. You get you a Peloton, big screen TV in front of you. You can go wherever you want to. You can go ride on glaciers. You can go ride Antarctica, whatever you want to do, Joe. But you ain't riding out on that bike anymore. I mean,
no, it's a threat.
He was a mess too, man. Like he looked like shit, man. Like he had a big old hole in the side of his nose when he came out yesterday. He comes out to do that college debt forgiveness. Now, that was one of his platforms.
Yeah.
You remember that? He was going to forgive all college debt, and it was going to be a national $15 an hour minimum wage. No. Neither of those things happened. It's just like old, you know, when old dipshit runs for the high school class, you know, class president or whatever.
Yeah.
Same thing. Just everybody's going to have Mountain Dew and hamburgers every day at lunch. They're going to be good. Oh, Sam, let's vote for Sam. Yeah, no, just like the president, they make all these stupid promises and they don't ever do shit. Especially this guy. And I was watching some of them yesterday. They were singing. It was oh God, I can't remember. It was obviously MSDNC or something like that. They were singing his praises. He's just done so much. Like he's just
what?
Everything that he's done that's been fucked up, they're like, oh, he got us out of Afghanistan? Well, okay, I guess. Kinda. I mean, we're not there.
Yeah.
That's for sure. We left a bunch of Americans there. We left a bunch of our allies there to deal with the Taliban. We had a bunch of people fall off that plane and die. We just kept on rolling. I mean, there were, you know, when our soldiers were leaving, I mean, I saw one of them just broke my heart, man. This lady goes up to the wall and she like passes her baby over. Yeah. That's how bad it must have been. I bet she had a little girl and she did not. She knew what was coming with the Taliban and she was like, get her out of here. She'll be better. Yeah. You know, and from what I understand now, females can't go to school past like junior high in Afghanistan now. Why? Because it's the Taliban. Oh. They're lucky to even do. They don't want girls. Yeah, they don't want women to have education. They don't want them to drive. I mean, it's back to the old thing where they're, you know, you can't walk down the street if you're a woman without having your father or your husband or a brother with you. Yeah, can't show your face. You know, if full on straight up. Yeah, you know, I mean that's crazy.
I agree.
I mean these dudes, but it was never our place to get involved with it either. No. Because, I mean, really, I think we were the ones, because I watched a thing, they said back in, like, the 60s and 70s, they said that Afghanistan was a pretty cool place to be. I want you to deal with a lot of women from that time frame, that era, that actually went over there and went to college. And they said it was, you know, it was a cool spot. Yeah. And, I mean, they took over, they killed that one guy. He was like a folk singer. He was singing his songs, and they just fucking killed him. No more music. Like, they're not allowed to listen to music, man. I mean, it's worse than Mormonism. Yeah. You think the to the knees thing is bad?
Oh, my God.
Was it like that at BYU, to the knees?
No.
Oh, the girls could wear something shorter than that?
Oh, no. Yeah, it's down to the knees.
To the knees. To the knees.
And it's like, the t-shirts have to be like this long.
Do you have to wear those undergarments, too?
Yes.
What's up with that? Can you tell that secret?
Yeah, I mean...
What's up with that?
If you're a guy and you go through the temple, then you promise that you're going to wear the garment. So when you decide that you want to marry, then you bring your wife through the temple. So she makes the promise that she's going to wear the garment. So it's like both of you are screwed.
So you had to wear the garments?
Yes, only for 2 years. And then I told my wife, I was like, this is fucked up.
So you have to wear them all the time?
Yeah.
What are they?
It's just like underwear. It's like...
Like long johns?
Yeah.
Long underwear?
Yep.
Are they issued by the church?
Yes.
Are they special?
No.
Is it just like going and getting some dickies or something? Like, is it? I mean, is that what it is, or is it just kind of?
I mean, no. They have like marks. I don't know. It's like
so
sacred
like
marks.
Full leg?
No, they come down to here. So.
And then is it like a T-shirt, or is it like long?
No, it's like short sleeve T-shirt.
And you got to wear that all the time.
All the time.
How many of them do you get?
I mean, you can get as many as you want to, but you're only allowed to get them through the church. So it's like,
what if you get caught? Let's say you're wearing some from Kmart or something. You get in trouble.
Yeah, you're not wearing garments. It's like
that's a
yeah.
What do you get? You get your name on the chalkboard? Get flogged?
Nah,
you don't have your underwear on. No going commando.
Oh my God.
No going commando as an LDS. I'd heard that before, and then I was reading some stuff about the church the other day, and I don't know why I got into that. Something came up with the LDS. Oh, I know what it was. I was watching a video that a guy made, and he and his wife had left.
Okay.
They left the church.
Yeah.
And he put out a video about it, and he'd grown up in the church. Like, that's all they ever knew.
Yeah.
They were married in the church. He went on a mission. She did too. And one day he just he said he'd had enough. And he said it was a really difficult deal because both their families, I mean, and I know how deep those families run.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and especially if you're involved at the level they were. And he said it was just like, just crazy.
No, but let me say that here's the crazy thing. It's like between 60 to 70% of BYU graduates are not even Mormons anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
That's why. Well, why would they even go there then?
It's the crazy thing. And they are married and everything, but it's like they just leave because it's like...
Huh. Yeah, that's crazy, man. I mean, is that what they are right there?
Yes.
Wow. So you got to wear that around all the time.
All day. Day and night.
You got to wear that around all the time, even in the middle of the summer. Yeah.
The only time you're allowed to take those off is if you're going to take a shower or if you're going to have sex, and then it's time to get them back on.
Oh, God. That's crazy. What do they do? What's the idea behind it?
I have no idea. Well,
I mean,
it's
is this what it is right here?
Yeah, they have like special marks. I don't know.
Wow. That's crazy, man. Here, I'm just going to pull this up so everybody can see it right quick. Here we go, folks. For those of you who don't know, sorry, that's Ricardo's face right there.
It's fine.
He's got underwear on his face now.
Oh.
That's wild, man. Mm-hmm. So, all the time.
All the time.
All the time. I just just strolling around with that shit underneath you.
Yeah.
I like how they got the little pouch for the dude.
Yeah, no.
On the bottom left, that dude's got a donkey dick on him, man. I was looking at that thing. Jesus Christ, you put a nut cup in there.
But the thing that sucks is like
wearing that.
In the middle of summer, you have to wear those, and it's like holy.
So you can't wear a tank top then?
No.
Can you get? So how are you supposed to get a suntan?
Good question.
You're just gonna be pasty.
Yeah.
From here on out, you're a Mormon and you're pasty. Did you ever see that show, Hell on Wheels?
Yeah.
The Swede.
No,
You remember him, the big tall guy?
Oh yeah.
That turned into a Mormon bishop or whatever.
Yeah.
Dude, that guy was straight evil. They couldn't kill him, man. Like he dropped off that big, huge train trestle into the river. They thought he was done.
Yeah.
And then dude got picked up. He ended up in a Mormon, like in a Mormon camp or whatever. And there's the Swede is like in charge of him. Oh my God, that dude was terrifying. That was a crazy show.
But yeah, no, let me say it's like, so once you get married, they send you to the Mormon wards. So the married wards. So you're completely independent from like the single male and women.
Really?
So there's only other married couples in those wards.
It's so a different church altogether? Or
no, I mean, so if you're single, you keep going to the single ward. But if you're married, they send you to a married ward. So
is that just a different part of the church? Or is it like different? Because like here, I painted a bunch of their churches.
Yeah.
So this is all considered a ward, right?
No. Yeah.
So
no. Well, Cody is divided into 3 wards. So
okay.
So yeah, but if you're married, then you only go to married wards, and that's it.
So is that just a different service in the same church, or do you have to go to a different
It's the same
church?
service, but it's like...
But is it the same church, or do you got?
Yeah,
to go, okay.
no, it's the same
church. So they
church.
just have different times.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's so weird that
Yeah.
you're technically supposed to only hang out with other married couples.
So you don't have any temptation.
Yeah.
I remember. Oh God, I got that up there again.
But let me say that temptation is...
I mean,
yeah, it is what it is. It's
well,
like...
right. I mean, there's gonna. That's crazy.
Yeah.
No,
I get it.
I know. When I ran into weird stuff in those churches. Every time we'd show up to paint them, and I had a big, huge beard back then. You know what I mean? All my guys were the same way. Kind of rough dudes.
Yeah.
And we'd show up, and I'd always have the key code, to get the key and get in. Like I had the key code to. I've got the codes to all of them. I mean, you'd go in, and there's always somebody. There's always somebody in.
Yeah,
always somebody in there. And I'd always have it happen where I'd go in because they all have classrooms.
Yeah,
even like Matiti. And you go in, and you're like. The room's dark. You don't think anybody's in there, and you go in, and then there'd be like 2 dudes sitting at a table, like staring at each other. And you're like, "Okay, what kind?" And they're like, "Oh," they're all freaked out that you come in, And I mean, it happened all the time.
Yeah.
And then like,
oh my God,
I don't know. I'm probably not supposed to tell the secrets, but I'm not Mormon, so I don't care. I mean, like the baptism thing.
Oh yeah.
That room, that thing's crazy. It's like a goddamn theater.
Yeah.
I mean.
It's
got glass all over where people can stand and watch, and then there's the pool.
Oh no, there's actually a glass that's like slanted, so people can watch from the back. Yeah.
The one, the big one here at the mural one.
Yeah,
it's like a gallery.
Yeah,
like all the way around it, and then you go in through one, like going in there. I was like, what in the world is going on here? I mean. I don't know. I mean, I think that, honestly, I don't have any issue with anybody that's LDS whatsoever. No. I mean, it's just, there's just stuff that's kind of, it's abnormal for your regular people. And, the whole story about the whole thing, I guess it's no more outlandish than, Jesus being born of a virgin. We all know that didn't happen.
Yeah, no.
Come on. Joseph was the biggest cuck around.
Yeah.
And that's why they skated out of there.
Yeah. Oh my God, no. It's like...
and then they made up that story. Come on. I mean...
No, but it's like, when I was actually researching for my personal knowledge, when I was going through the big change of being Mormon to being non-Mormon, I swear I found like 6 different accounts written by him of like how the church started. And I was like, well, what should I believe? It's like...
Yeah.
Which one is the right one?
Well, who knows? I mean, the stories I've heard about Joseph Smith, I mean, he got from what I understand, he got tarred and feathered. Oh, ran out of where he was at. He was, he was diddling a 14-year-old or something.
Yeah.
Can you imagine back then getting tarred and feathered though?
Yeah.
I mean, we always used to laugh. I remember as kids, like we'd see it on cartoons, and you'd see somebody on Looney Tunes get tarred and feathered, and you'd laugh. You think, but then you think about it, it's like back then, like,
oh yeah,
you don't got nothing to wash that shit off. I mean, it's gonna burn you.
Yeah. And
then and then they send you packing.
Yeah.
I don't know what they do if they stripped you down naked or what.
But
it had to have been miserable. And then and then they kick you on down the road, and you're out there and so everybody that sees you, they know that you did something fucked up, so you're not getting any help. You're not going to go knock on a farmhouse door or whatever,
Well, Joseph Smith did do a lot of fucked up shit, so he more than deserved it. So.
Oh, well, he was a notorious liar.
Yeah.
I mean, the seeing stones, looking in the hat, and he was the only one that could see him.
Yeah.
I mean.
Oh, my God.
It's a crazy, the Mormons,
no,
it's a crazy story, man.
That's why the South Park episode where they make fun of the Mormon church, it's so real. I swear, that episode, it's like...
Oh, yeah, no, they were on it, man.
It hits it spot on, and it's like...
They still have that, they have a play.
Yeah. No, but I swear, I was watching that and I was like, holy fuck.
Joseph Smith's The Seeing Stones. Dum, 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 dum.
Yeah.
No, when I saw that, I was like, oh, geez. They did and then they came out with the Broadway play, and I was like, oh, God. No, that was, yeah. I know I wrote a paper when I was I went to a Nazarene college for a little bit, and I had to take Bible literature, and then I had to take a class called Survey of Christian Thought. And the Survey of Christian Thought, I had to write you had to write a 12-page paper about anything with religion. Yeah. So being from here and then being in Idaho is where it was at. So there was a lot of Mormons there.
Yeah.
And the Nazarenes are weird too. They don't believe in dancing or movies.
What?
Oh yeah, man. I transferred there after going to a state college, and it's probably like you going to BYU from Miami.
Oh my God.
Because where I was at the previous year, anything went, right? Like it didn't matter. Like, I mean, you had co-ed dorms. Yeah. I mean, it was a free for all. Yeah. You know, it was loosey-goosey. And I show up down there, man, and I didn't even know what a Nazarene was. I just went to visit. They had recruited me, and I was like, I need to go to a smaller school where I can get better grades and get my act together. And I thought, well, this place, you know, I looked at it, looked kind of nice, and so I took a trip out there, and they gave me a good deal for playing baseball, and I signed the papers, and then I showed up, you know, in the fall. I showed up, and I mean,
and you were like, where the fuck am I?
I walked in that dorm, and I'm looking around, and there's all these weird little dudes. These guys are all got like little collared shirts on and shit, and they're all. And I'm like, I come in with long hair, you know, baggy jeans and shit, and you know, I mean, all I had was, I was 19, I think, at 20 at the time. I mean, I had a you know, like a big duffel bag, and I had a huge ass Pioneer stereo. And I remember walking in, and like the guy that was the RA comes out, he's like, "Hey, brother, how are you?" You know, and I'm like, "Who the fuck are you?" And he's like, "Oh, that's a $5 fine." And I'm like, "What?" So what the fuck are you talking about? You know, there's another $5. I mean, I had like $40 before I'd even gotten in my room. And he tells me, "Well, you're not allowed to have any girls in your room except for once a month on open house, and it's 2 hours once a month, and you have to leave the door open." Yeah. I'm like, what?
No, it's the same with me. Were you? Yeah.
I said, wait. So I built a rope ladder. No, I was on the second floor. I had a ladder that went out my window.
Hold on, at BYU. So I arrived after I stopped at a Best Buy to get a TV. So the cab driver drops me off at the dorm. I'm the only guy there besides the RA. Yeah. And he's like, "Hey, brother, it's so good to have you." And I'm like, "Okay."
You're like, "What did I do?"
Yeah. And I set the TV, and he's like, "Oh no, you can't watch Saw." I was like, "Why not?" And he's like, "Oh no, that's a rated R movie." And I was like, "So what?" Wow. He's like, "No, we don't watch rated R movies here." And I was like, "The fuck am I gonna listen to you?" It's like, it's my TV. I can watch whatever.
I'm an adult. I'm a grown up. Like you probably signed something that said you didn't, though. Yeah. That's like there, man. I mean, I got in trouble all the time. Yeah. And I go in and I get this roommate that, I mean, I ran him off in one night. Like, I'm in the room. He hasn't shown up yet. I got my shit kicked out in the room, you know. I'm just kicking it. I got my stereo hooked up, my little TV. Yeah. And I'm jamming Pantera, you know, and I'm sleeping, right? So, I mean, you know, I used to sleep listening to heavy metal all the time. I mean, and all of a sudden I like hear somebody, I wake up and here he comes with his mommy and his daddy. and his dad's got like a little stupid Black & Decker drill, and they've got all these little shelf units for him, you know? Yeah. And so I'm like, oh, God, you know? And they're like, "Do you mind if we turn this down? It's really loud." And, you know, and I'm like, I think at the time I had like studio phones kind of like that just plugged in. I was like, yeah, and I crawled back up on my rack and went back to sleep, you know? And they got done. He moved so much shit in there. And then they had a bunch of leftover shelves. And so the dad, you know, like at that time, I'm up. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get the hell out. Yeah. So I'm getting up and everything and putting my shoes on and that. And he's like, "Well, Mike, would you like a couple of these shelves? I've got some leftovers. We can put some over there in your desk area." Yeah. And I'm like, "Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be really nice of you." Yeah. Thank you. And he goes, "Okay, they're $15 a piece. So just go ahead and take the cash for them." I'm like, you know, I'm like, it's like, what the fuck? You son of a, and you could tell they were richer than shit, you know? Yeah. And I'm like, "Nah, fuck your shelves, man. I don't want those goddamn things." And so I said, "Fuck this." And I left, you know, and I had a fake ID. So I had met some cats the day before that were all right. And we went and got a bunch of beer. went and smoked a bunch of weed.
Yeah.
And carried on until about 2 or 3 in the morning. And I go in the dorm, and of course I can't get in because after midnight or what. So I got to bang on the door, and I'm all corned up, and this stupid RA comes up, and he's like, you're going to get a fine for this. And I'm like,
what the fuck?
Fuck you. He goes, that's another one. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. There's another one, So I go in my room, and he's sleeping in his bed, God. He's on the bottom bunk. I'm on top. And I just cranked the stereo up. And I start thrashing around and I put on a show.
Yeah.
I'm yelling for Satan and all this. Just going berserk, and then I just crawled up top and went to, and when I woke up the next day, his shit was gone. Gone. Like that was my room,
Yeah.
I saw some crazy shit at that school, man.
Yeah.
They had the one RA, they did a revival. Did I tell you about that?
No. Oh my God,
dude. Okay, so it's the spring of 97, I believe.
Okay,
maybe 97, I think. And we'd been doing we always did a lot of drugs and shit.
Yeah.
But for some reason that day I decided to walk to practice. I'd moved off campus because I couldn't stand it.
Yeah.
It was like, no more. I got a doctor's note and we got the fuck out of there, me and my buddy, and we went and rented an apartment. Yeah. So that day I just decided to walk. And the pre-practice ritual, I usually would take a Mickey's 40 and I'd bong that down.
Yeah.
And then smoke a joint and then drink a mug of coffee, and then I'd go to practice.
Yeah.
And so I'm walking. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm just walking along. I got my bat bag. I got my baseball uniform on, my just practice pants and shit. I'm walking up on that freshman dorm, and I can see smoke. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on over here? Yeah. It's like a back parking lot, right? So I cut through the back, and I'm looking at these fuckers, and they're all out there, and they made a little makeshift fire ring out there.
What the fuck?
And I stopped. I don't go up next to them.
Yeah.
I just pull off over there's a tree, on the other side of the park, and I just kind of stop, and I just kick back. I'm like, what are these fucking idiots? Because they keep going in, they're coming out, they're throwing like Playboys and like fucking CDs. Like Metallica was coming to play there. They were throwing Metallica tickets in the fire.
What the fuck?
And I'm like, hey, I'll take those, And they're looking at me, and they're like, oh, it's that file guy. He's and I'm like, so I remember looking at him. I go, hey guys, fascism is alive and well in Nampa, Idaho, And and they're like, and so the one RA, right? He was going to be a missionary, and he was that guy that was like, hey, how are you doing, watching Friends every night or whatever, and.
Yeah.
And so he's praying over these guys and this and that, and they're all just, praising Jesus. And
oh my God.
And the dude comes out, and he's got a thing of tinfoil in his hand, right? A little packet. And he comes up to this RA guy, and I won't say his name because I doubt he'll see this, but somebody might know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But he comes out and he hands it to the dude, and the RA's like, what's this? And the guy's like, I have to come clean. He goes, I've been doing acid by myself in my room all semester, and this is what's left, and I want you to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And so dude's like, oh, I've never seen acid. And so I'm standing there watching. I'm going, you got to be fucking shitting me. You got to be fucking shitting me. He opens that foil up.
Oh, my God.
And he starts handling it, and I'm over there going, oh. Like 7 seconds, it's in your, it goes right through your skin.
Yeah.
I did that experiment once. I was like, watch this, and I even had my buddy do it. We just put it in our hand, held it for 7 seconds, and threw it in the trash. And dude, you take off. No joke, And Jimi Hendrix used to put it under his headband,
Yeah.
And so this dude, he handed him a half a sheet of acid. This guy handles 50 hits.
Oh my God.
He's looking at it. Whoa, I've never, and I'm over there like this. Like, this is about to get real. This is going to get real quick. Like, holy shit. So I fucking watch this go down. He throws the shit. I start high stepping to practice because I can't wait to see. There's like 3 dudes on the team that were cool.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to tell them. So I get in there and I see my buddies. And I'm like, Bart, fuck. I'm like, dudes. I'm like, shit's going to get fucking nutty around here, dude. I'm like, fucking dude over there just fucking handled 50 hits of fucking acid, dude. And they're like, what? God. And I'm like, no, dude, I'm not. I said, you guys didn't see it because they drove to practice. Yeah. They didn't walk. For some reason, I walked that day. Yeah. And I saw it. Nobody else even put it together. So this dude starts tripping balls, right? Like he's fucking out of his mind. He starts talking about angels and demons. Like that night after practice, we get in the fucking chow hall, right? Because we'd get done with like 5 minutes to go. And so we'd go in and we'd have to load up trays because we were like the last ones to be able to eat. We go and he's in there standing on tables. He's praying over pop machines. He's yelling about seeing angels and demons and spiritual warfare. And I'm going, there's no doubt he's not. I said, no doubt that he's seeing angels and demons right now. He's going over the pop machines. He's praying over them shit. Well, fucking people start following his ass around, right? So he's not going to sleep anytime soon. Yeah. He's out of his fucking gourd. His fucking eyeballs are like this. Dude, he ends up with this mad mob of fucking students, and they go on what they call a revival. And they're marching. You couldn't walk across campus without getting mobbed by an angry group of Nazarene kids that are going to pray over you. Like this one dude, that turned out to be a really good friend. But he just started hanging out in our crew, and I was real careful about who hung out with us. And the next day, I hear about this guy that we had just kind of taken in as one of our friends, and we hear, he got saved, and I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. So I get on the phone, I call him up, you got saved, motherfucker? He's like, dude, I was just walking back from fucking so-and-so's place last night. I got fucking surrounded, and they all started, he goes, and I was tripping balls, and they started praying over me, dude, and he goes, I was so fucking scared. He goes, I started crying, and they think I got saved. And I was like, okay, whatever, dude. Oh my God. I mean, it was nuts, man. They were crazy. And my buddy lived right across the street from campus, and he was the devil. Like my buddy, and we were all the devil. But we would hang out at this dude's place. Yeah. And we drank like crazy. We did drugs. We did anything we could get our hands on. And that semester, we were really into anything. And so they were across the street from us. Yeah. And there was a whole mob. This is like midnight, right? And they're out there and they're singing hymnals and shit. And we're sitting outside my buddy's house and we're looking and we're like, what the fuck? Yeah. And so my boy, and I won't say his name either, but he's like, fuck this. And he takes his beer and smashes it on the ground. He goes stomping across the fucking road there, and goes walking up. He does like this to fucking put his finger in that dude's face that like hit him and he flies back and like lands on his back. Like dude didn't even touch him. Yeah. Right. He's like, that's what God just did. He's the devil, and they're all, praying and singing and shit. And we're just over there going, Jesus fucking Christ, what the fuck is going on?
Oh my God.
So this went on, man, all week. This went on. And they were in chapel singing and yelling, and it was great revival. Right. And so I actually had a relationship with the chaplain at this place, which was a bizarre deal because he and I but he gave a sermon one day when I was at the chapel, and I wrote him a letter or email that day, told him why I wasn't going to be coming back to chapel because you had to go to like 21 of them a semester, and for every one of them under 21 that you didn't go to, you'd get fined $10. That's how they did. They fined you. Okay. Like you didn't do things because it was something you wanted to do. You did it because you get fined. Yeah. So they made you go to chapel. So one day he's in there talking about how mandatory chapel is there because it's in order to develop a sense of community. So right after I go to the email room, I send him an email. I say, listen here. I was like, I'm not coming anymore. I said, because I don't want to have a sense of community with these people. I said, because all of them that are up there singing on that stage, I said, I was watching half those chicks doing beer bongs off the shed at a basketball house this weekend and smoking weed, doing it. And then they're going to sit there on Monday morning and go sing songs and point their finger at me and tell on me. Yeah. I'm like, I'm who I am. At least I'm honest about it. You know? So I said, I'm not going back. And he called me into his office. I was like, oh, great. So I go in and sit down, He's like, file. He goes, I said, yeah, what can I do for you, And he's like, have a seat. And I'm like, I don't really want to. He's like, I just want to talk to you, And he's like, so what's your deal? And I said, my deal. You've heard from everybody else. I said, I wear my shirt on. And I said, I wear everything on my sleeve, man. And he goes, well, here's the deal. He goes, I've never done this. He goes, but I'm going to give you an exemption from chapel. Yeah. He goes, because what you said was 100% on the money. And I'm like, well, I didn't expect that. You know? I was thinking he's going to throw me out of school. And I was the first person, as far as I know, and probably the only that never had to go. Yeah. I never went back to that chapel again. Nice. But we'd go in some days, and he'd go in and give you a card, right? And so we'd go up in the balcony, and we'd sit up there and make spit wads. And they had this special guy that they put up there to watch us.
What?
You know, we called him the bald eagle, and we would just and then to piss him off, we would just get up in the middle of the chapel, and we'd just walk out, and you know, there was always this googly looking. She had a googly eye, you know, like it went one way, and she would always watch the door. And so you had to go in, and then you had to stay for the whole thing, and then turn your chapel card in, and that's how they knew you were there.
Oh my God!
So if you left early, then you could.
Yeah.
And so we'd always go walk. She'd go, "No, if you leave early," and I'd sit there and rip my fucking chapel card up and throw it, and then we'd go back behind the baseball field to smoke pot or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, that whole thing went down, and I talked to the chaplain when that was happening. Yeah. And I was like, hey, you know, I was like, Gene, I was like, you know this shit's bullshit, right? And he's like, I know there's something weird going on with all this. I said, dude, that guy's on fucking acid, man. And he was from Northern California, so he knew what was. I mean, he was from he was like from Eureka or Arcata or something. So I mean, I know that he knew what was up, you know. And I mean, he's like, oh, and I'm like, yeah. I said, this is all going to come crashing down as soon as he falls asleep. I said he's going to sleep for like 2 days, and this whole band of nitwits is going to disband.
Yeah.
And we both had a good laugh about it. And sure enough, man, he went for like 5 days. And then he fell out, man. He was down for like 48 hours.
Yeah.
And then you got all these morons that have been following this guy around for a week, and they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And so they just all kind of like, eventually they just disband and wander off. And that was the end of that. But they were like writing articles in the school paper.
Oh my God.
They were just nuts. And the group of them just kept getting bigger and bigger as the week went on. It got so bad you couldn't even walk across campus at night, man. It was like, no, I'm not going across there. Fuck that, you know. Like, got a fucking roving band of fucking Christians following an acid.
Oh my God.
Guys just frying balls, yelling about, you know, it's angels and demons and shit. And
I went from doing pot in Miami, just drinking beer with friends and everything, to fucking BYU. It's like,
wow,
like one day I was in Miami, then by the end of the week I was at BYU, and I was like, I swear, the day after I moved to BYU, I woke up, I called my dad in Mexico, and I was like, I have no fucking idea what I'm doing here.
Why did you go there?
Because of his boss at the time. He was a Mormon, and he was like, yeah, you should go to BYU. And I was like, how bad can it be?
Yeah, little did you know.
Yeah.
That's like me. I didn't know what a Nazarene was.
Yeah, I was like, I can handle it. It's just...
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. Yeah, I mean, they're pretty close. Here's one thing that I remember the one day, right? Like me and a bunch of the guys on the baseball team, we'd play in the intramural softball league, which wasn't really fair, but we would play left-handed. Mm-hmm. Like we'd bat left-handed. So at least, you know.
Yeah.
And so we had those green Gatorade bottles that we'd get on the baseball team. They had to give you one, you know, for your walk. Yeah. And we always had them full like rum and Coke, you know. And so we're out there playing one night, and there's a main drag that runs right through campus. And I just felt so embarrassed because these two dudes, they're Mormon missionaries.
Oh, my God.
And they're on their bicycles. And they're riding by the softball field. And these Nazarene kids start fucking throwing water and shit on them, like yelling at them and shit, like totally just being assholes. And, you know, I'm looking over there, and they all got these "What Would Jesus Do" bracelets on and shit. And I'm like, you know, that's not what Jesus would fucking do. You know, I was like, that's bullshit, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember running down the street and, like hollering at him. And, like, I was like, hey, I'm sorry for the way these people acted towards you right there. And they're, like, looking at me like... and I'm like, that wasn't cool, you know? I'm like, and I yelled at all of them. I was like, you guys suck, you know? And, that was just crazy, man. But we'd sit out there and get drunk and play softball, and they'd all we'd get told on. And I made us all shirts, like just I went and got us all like Hanes white T-shirts. And there was this dude that he was like the head of the school, right? Yeah. And he had like the Parkinson's shit, so he, you know. I mean, sorry, I'm not trying to be a dick, but I was a young kid, and so I went and got these T-shirts, and I took a Sharpie, and we called him Twitchy.
Yeah.
And I was always getting called up into his office. He ran the office. They called it student development. I called it the Office of Social Distortion. And he called me up there one day when we'd gotten told on, you know. And I walk in, and I'm wearing, you know, we all had these T-shirts that said Twitchy's Boys on it. That's what we used to do back then. We'd make shirts and just put Sharpie on them and write crazy shit on them and freak all these Nazarene kids off. You know? And they would, me and my buddy, we'd walk down the sidewalk and literally if these people were coming at us, they'd like split. Like one day I'm in the locker room before practice and I see a piece of paper under my bench, you know, and I reach down and I grab it and it says, I look at it and it says, it's handwritten. It says, people who need God's fire. And number 1 on the list is Mike File.
Yeah.
Number 2 on the list is my next best friend. All my buddies were all on that list. Like we needed. Oh my god! I showed it. I was like, look at this shit, guys. And everybody's like, ah. I mean, literally, we'd walk. And my buddy, I mean, he'd be like, "Fuck you," you know. These people. They'd fucking like, oh my! They'd never even heard anybody speak like that before, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, we terrorized them. I mean, they were scared to death of us.
No, it's at BYU. It's like whenever I was watching a movie that was so intense, they were cussing. I was like, fuck that. And my friends were all like, oh, did you just say that? I was like, fuck.
Fuck you.
Like, yeah.
Yeah,
it's like in the movie. It's like because they tried to watch the movies with all the cuss words cut out. So it's like, fuck.
I got in a big argument with. This was a guy that I went to that school with for a while that I met out there, right?
Yeah.
And his family was Nazarene, but he was always cool. He was always hanging at our house. I worked with him. You know, he was always down and everything. Well, when I got home from prison, we became. You know, I saw him on Facebook, and so I sent him a friend invite and was just like, "What's up, dude?" This and that. And I'm sitting here one night and I'm watching that stupid gold miner show on Discovery Channel.
Yeah.
And that one dude that's a Christian, you know, the big fat guy. I don't remember his name. He had the old prospector, you know, we're going to, you know, and they always prayed.
Yeah.
But he always said frick. He'd say frickin' frick all the time. And so I put a post on Facebook that night. And I said, you know, if you're going to say frick, you might as well just say fuck because you're saying the intention's there. You know, I said, you know, I said all you Christians out there that say frickin' frackin' tennis racket, you might as well just say motherfucking tennis racket, you know? And he got so mad at me. And come to find out, he'd gone on a bunch of missionary, he converted to Nazarene.
Oh my God.
You know, and he starts fucking sounding off on me. And so I didn't put him on blast on Facebook, but I sent him a private message. You know, I was like, dude, I said, you forget that I know who you are.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen you do things that nobody else knows about, bro. I'm like, sit there and sound off on me like that, you know? And really, it's like, oh, shucky darns, you know? I mean, or gosh darn it. I mean, it's the same thing. Yeah. The intention is the same.
Yep.
Or cheese and rice, you know? It's like, I mean, why don't you just say Jesus Christ? I mean, but cheese and rice is okay. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. It's just like your intent is the exact same. So, I mean, a word is a word. I mean, and like with my son, I let him talk. He talks around me however he wants to. I don't care. He can say what, you know, I'm just like, dude, I'm like, here's part of the deal, though. It's all I've told him his whole life. It's about respect, honesty, and discretion. Yep. I'm like, you can speak that way around me because I know how. I mean, I know how I talked when I was that age.
Yeah.
I said, but you can't do that. You can't never speak like that in front of your grandparents. You can't speak like that in front of school teachers or any other adults. Like, you, no way. You know, and he's been pretty good about it so far.
Yeah, that's
We've
good.
had a couple incidences. There was one time in second grade, he was standing in the cafeteria, and he was like, when I say B, you say itch. And I'd just given him an MP3 player, and I told him at that time, I said, I'm not going to censor what music you listen to, but I was like, if you go to school and you start repeating any lyrics, of it, you know. And so I took the MP3 player back. You know, I was like, no more of that. But no, it's just silly, man. The cuss words.
Yeah, no.
I mean, that was showing up there. Yeah, I mean, I can imagine for you it was way even worse. Well, I mean, because
let me say, for me now, I speak like that with cuss words when I'm around another adult who can take it.
Right. Yeah, you don't speak like that around your.
And it's funny because my wife knows that I speak with cuss words, and now she uses cuss words when she talks to me. So it's like,
it's just a word.
Yeah.
If you don't even speak, if you don't speak our language, you don't even know what it means.
No, but
it's just like
she uses cuss words, and she uses cuss words in Spanish because.
Right, funny. And so is that okay?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, though. Like, yeah, I was just gonna say, if you use swear words, I mean, if you're saying "chinga tu madre," well, it's not English, but
It's like, yeah.
But I mean, it's all about cuss words is just so I've never understood it because all it is just it's just
a word.
It's just utterances. It's a syllable with vibration behind it, and that's it. I mean, I don't know why people make a big deal out of swearing.
It's so dumb.
Oh, you shouldn't be talking. You shouldn't let your kids talk like that. It's like, but who gives a shit? You know how they.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember we were kids, man. That my brother had gone to the swimming pool, and it was the middle of winter, and so my mom told him to call when he needed a ride. So he calls from the swimming pool, and there's something wrong with their phone, and so my mom answers the phone. I remember I'm sitting there. I'm at the kitchen table. We're like in grade school, right?
Yeah.
I've got my little wood burning kit out. It's a terrible snowy day, and I'm doing some wood burning, right?
Yeah.
Just doing my thing. And she answers the phone, and I look over and she's just holding the phone. She's just getting this scowl on her face, and her face is turning fucking red, right? And I'm like looking at her like, huh? And then I can hear through the receiver, my brother on the other end. So something was wrong with the phone. So she could hear him, but he couldn't hear her.
Oh, no.
And so he's at the swimming pool with his friends, and he's yelling fucking shit and just belting out these cuss words, man. I mean, and she just looks at me, and I mean, she hangs that phone up and goes and gets her big ass coat and her keys and stomps out the house and gets in we had that old Griswold station wagon, man. She takes off. She brought that kid. Oh God, she brought him in the house, just fucking whooping his ass all the way in there. He's crying and shit. She's just beating his ass all the way down the hall. Oh God, she came out and I was like, what was that all about?
Yeah.
And she was just pissed. She was so mad. I don't want to talk about it. I'm like, geez. But like she heard me one day, you know, and this isn't a word that I use anymore, and I didn't know what it meant. At the time, we were little kids. I'd heard somebody say it at school.
Yeah.
And I repeated it at my brother, and we were outside, and my mom was in her bathroom, and the window was open, and I called my brother a faggot. Yeah. I was like in 4th grade. He was like in 2nd. I didn't know what it even meant, right? I didn't have any idea.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. She came out and drug my ass in there and fucking whooped on me with that wooden spoon.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what I had done. I had no clue. I didn't know what I'd said. And I mean, after that, though, I'll tell you what, spankings work.
No, yeah.
Sometimes they do. You get an ass whooping at the right age. I never said that word. I don't think I've ever uttered it again till right now.
It happened to me in Mexico because I said the word chingados, which is like fuck.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my dad, and I was like, chingados. He's like, excuse me? And I was like, yeah, me cagan. And he's like, what?
You're like, whoop.
And I just sat in my seat like, oops.
Yeah. I remember one day, man, it was, oh God, this was back when my ex-wife and I had first separated. And so it was early in the morning. I'd get up and make Jack's breakfast every day at that point in time, you know? And it was like 6:30. My alarm goes off. I wake up and I can hear this awful screeching. And I'm like, son of a bitch. I knew the cat. We just got the cat, and I knew the cat brought something in, you know? And so I get up. I'm in my boxers. I'm out in the hallway, and I'm looking, and I'm hearing this fucking screeching. And so I pushed Jackson's door open. And I said, Jackson, what's that screeching noise? And he goes, I don't know. And I said, there it is. And I look up in the corner of his room up on the curtain rod, and there's a bird. And I'm like, oh, man. You know, and he goes, you know, so he sees it, and he goes, it's a fucking bird, Dad. And he goes, I started laughing so hard. I was like, oh my God. I was like, God. Dude, I said, it's okay. Yeah. It's fine. And that's it, because we didn't know what it was. And we had to chase that bird, and we chased it all the way down the hall into the kitchen. I mean, that's how our day started that day, trying to get that thing out of there. But that was the first time that he ever dropped that in front of me. And I mean, he just immediately, like, this is like, he's like, looking at me like, oh God, what's he gonna do? And I just started laughing, and he was like, okay, you know. I was like, you know, like, you can't ever say that word in front of your grandparents, man. Yeah. You know, I mean, I still don't even really, I mean, if I get really upset, then I'll swear in front of my mother, but I typically try not to.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
You know what, if I do, then it's usually meaning that I'm emphasizing something and I'm not happy.
It's just fun, because with me, I cuss in front of my mom, and she cusses back at me. So it's like, that's how we get along.
Yeah.
That's like,
it's not a big deal.
No.
I don't know why. I don't know why it's. They said that.
But,
I've seen studies that say that people that swear are actually more intelligent too.
but the first time I brought Alicia to Mexico, she heard me cussing at my mom, and she's like, what the fuck? She's like, oh my gosh, what did you say? And I was like, what? It's like, that's how I get along with my mom.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal. It's
Yeah,
just,
no.
I mean, there's no difference between that or anything else.
Yeah,
It's just a word. It's just a word. I mean, yeah, I mean, I mean, what do you call a person that cusses? I mean, I remember one time when I was a kid, I had a bike. It was called like a Sears bike or something. I think that it was like a CK Cruiser or something.
Yeah.
And some dude in the neighborhood had taken a pen or like paint and wrote "FU" in front of the CK. And I remember going home, man. I was little at that time, like maybe first graders. And my mom saw that, and she was like freaking out. I'm like, I don't even know what fuck means. She's like, don't ever say that again. You know, I mean,
Oh my God.
it just it doesn't even mean anything.
No.
I don't understand it. There was that one South Park. Did you see it where they said shit like all those times, and then what was it? That big monster showed up or whatever. I was like, how'd they get away with that? But I guess it was at that time they'd made it on TV that after a certain time at night you could say certain words.
Yeah.
But it was the context.
Yeah.
Like you know, it was something like you couldn't call somebody a piece of shit, but you could say like you took a shit or something like that, you know? Like, and then, I mean, it got to the point where you could pretty much say almost anything. I mean, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it's a big deal.
Nah.
I always have to click the button on this thing, though, and I always have to tell people, hey, you know, if people that I know that have kids want to watch this show or what, I'm like, just, hey, be forewarned.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we're not quoting scripture up there, you know?
No.
I mean...
And what makes me laugh is that now my wife is the one who cusses because she's watching the TV show and she's like, holy fuck. And I'm like, what?
Wait till your kids start cussing.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, wait, sometimes I give her crap and I'm like, you're a Mormon. You're not allowed to say that.
Yeah.
And she's like, fuck that.
What would Nephi do? I remember they were trying to tell us one time we were playing basketball at the park and a couple of the missionaries came up, you know, and I was maybe 6th or 7th grade. And they're like, can we speak to you guys about the Book of Mormon? I said, listen, I said, here's the deal. I said, you hit a 3-pointer from out there? I said, then we'll listen to you. Of course, he grabs the basketball and chucks up an air ball. And I'm like, yep, that's it. You know, and so they stand there under the basket. They keep trying to, like, talk to us, and we're playing a game, you know?
Yeah, it's like, get the fuck out.
And he's, like, yelling about, Jesus went to Philadelphia and in the Book of Nephi. And we're like, get the fuck out, you know? I mean, it's like, dude, we had a deal. You know, you didn't make the shot. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Did you see Fauci's going to resign?
Oh, yeah.
Old squirrel elf. He's going back to the Keebler tree with Jeff Sessions. Yeah, this is an article this is from Forbes, talking about people that swear being honest.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if you're going to say frick every other word,
nah.
I mean, that drives me nuts. You know, it's like, come on. I mean, I had a buddy in school. His dad was a Baptist minister. We were at his house for his birthday one year, and we always would watch Monty Python and the Holy Grail. And his mom had made like cookies or something, so he'd gone in the kitchen to get cookies for us, and he brought out this plate, and he had never cussed. None of us had. He used to get mad when we would cuss. He'd get upset about it.
Yeah.
And he comes in with a plate of cookies, and he's like, all right, here's your cookies, you bunch of dicks. Right, and his mom's sitting there, too, and she just looked at him, and he put his hand over his mouth, and he started crying.
My God.
I mean, he couldn't even believe that came out of his... I mean, he's crying, man. I mean... I'm trying to remember what he used to say. He used to have a word they say it was like Klinderfrothing or something like that. It was some weird word he'd made up that when he'd get mad, Klinderfrothing, Dinkelschmitten, some crap like that. I mean, but yeah, he comes in, here's your cookies, you bunch of dicks. And
like,
you know, I mean, like we're all on our best behavior because we're at his parents' house. And I mean, you know, we all know, we know that his dad's a Baptist minister and shit. I mean.
Oh my God, it's great.
That was one of the funniest things. I mean, and he was so upset that he'd done that. I mean, he went running to his room and everything. I mean, he was just, you know, and his mom was just like, oh my, you know. It was one of those moments. I was like,
Oh yeah.
Oh,
it's great.
yeah, this is anyway. Profanity seems to be associated with greater honesty rather than dishonesty.
It's true.
I think so. I don't know. I don't care. It doesn't. To me, it doesn't mean. I mean,
nah, it's
it really. You got to get over that. I mean, if it's something that bothers you, come on.
Just go live in Utah or Idaho.
I mean, if it was such a rotten thing, then why would God have let us come up with that? Everybody thinks that we have free will.
Yeah.
That's so funny. There's not free will.
Yeah.
We're all a product of our environments. And, whatever. Anyway, that's an interesting topic, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I sometimes I feel like maybe I shouldn't so much, but I don't really care because that's who I am. I don't
fun.
Care.
It's
I'm not going to pull any punches. I mean, I'm who I am, and that's it. If you don't like it, then kick fucking rocks, I mean, ain't nobody making you listen to this shit.
Nope.
Either if you do, you do. If you don't, then, hey, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Nope.
I love all of y'all. Even if you don't cuss. I mean, really, and I don't care.
Yeah,
if you got the religion, you got the religion. That's fine. I don't care. I don't give a shit. Doesn't bother me one way or another. Are you a good person or are you not?
Yep.
That's my issue with religion. In my experience, I've run into so many hypocritical, judgmental people. And that's fine. You want to be a hypocrite, be a hypocrite, but at least admit it.
Yeah.
If you're a hypocrite, just say it. Oh man, I screwed up. I mean, that's what's upsetting, especially about these politicians, man.
Oh,
you watch them and they just like watching that idiot, with the hole in his nose. I'm going to have to show you that when we get done because you're going to shit when you see this. It's fucked up. But he just never takes, he always, the buck stops with me, but it never does.
Oh my God.
He always passes it on. He always shuns it off over here. It's never his fault. They said something to him about the laptop today. Then he blames it on Ron Johnson, who's had all the FBI whistleblowers show up now. What makes the FBI whistleblowers that show up at Ron Johnson's office any less credible than the officers that...
Exactly.
And the FBI agents that went down and raided Trump's, they were the same ones that were involved in the whole Russiagate thing.
Yeah.
And the same with the media. So these same people, they're doing the same thing again. And everybody's like, he had classified documents.
Oh,
it's
fuck
like
that.
The president is allowed to classify or declassify whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Whatever he wants. And he'd been cooperating with them. They'd already sent 3 agents in there. And they asked him, they said, well, could you just please put a secondary lock on that door?
Yeah.
Which he did. He told him, if you need any of these boxes of papers, whatever you do, just let me know. He'd even gone into the office and told him that. He was cooperating 100%. And then he's not there. And it's all just a fucking grandstanding act.
Yeah.
And heads are going to roll, man, because American people are pissed. I mean, that's a violation of everybody's Fourth Amendment right there. I mean, so if they're going to act like that towards the president, think about how they're going to act towards you and me.
Yeah.
And then they're hiring 87,000 fucking IRS agents.
That is insane. Yeah.
And they're going to arm them.
What?
They're going to be carrying guns. You should see the ad out there. There's an ad out there for they're like, part of the fucking deal is, they say it right in the ad, like you got to be willing to use force and you got to be willing to carry a gun. I mean, what are they going to pull a gun on you to get your fucking W-2? I mean, you got a bunch of snurdlies out there. I was watching some of their training, man, and these people they had rubber guns, and these people, I mean, they're going to shoot them. They're going to shoot themselves. People are going to get killed.
Yeah.
These people don't have any business carrying a firearm.
Yeah, no.
I mean, you're an accountant, I mean, come on. I mean, Jesus Christ.
It's like, what? Why do you need a firearm for it? It's like,
and there's $80 billion in that bill for that. To hire 80, like we need 87,000 fucking stupid accountants. Those guys need to be like on the border.
Yeah.
I mean, make them border aid. I mean, figure something out with that. Get the homeless. I mean, 80 billion. You could take a quarter of that, 20 billion, and you could solve homelessness.
Yeah.
No, we're going to get, 20 billion out of that 80, and you throw it at homelessness and you eradicate it.
Yeah.
You have everybody off the street who wants to be off the street.
Yeah.
Now you're going to have people that are still going to want to be on the street.
But that is fine. It's like.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people that don't want to be on the fucking street, And you could get them all, you could build places for them. You could get them Trump's the only one that's even talked about a solution. He's like, look, You know, and this isn't a great solution, but at least he's addressing it. Joe Biden hasn't addressed it.
Yeah.
He hasn't addressed the border either. That's why I was laughing, because in that bit that I wrote, that blog that I wrote, when I was talking about Paul Pelosi and saying if Jesus Lopez would have been the one that hit him.
Yeah.
And turned out that he was, an undocumented worker up in Northern California. I could only imagine where that would go.
Oh.
First of all, the Republicans would be having a heyday with it because, hey, Pelosi's husband just got fucking whacked by somebody that not even supposed to be in the country.
Yeah.
But then thinking about what would have happened, and like I said, when they showed up, I'll bet they thought that he was the one responsible.
Yeah.
And the poor dude doesn't speak English. He just got. What kind of luck is that? What kind of luck is that? Think about poor Jesus Lopez. He's heading north on 29. He's going home. Probably been working all day.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably tired. Ready to go home, see his wife and kids.
And then it's like...
And then fucking Paul Pelosi fucking runs a stop sign in his Porsche and fucking just lambaste him. And now he's in the fucking hospital. His Jeep's totaled. I guarantee he got a fat check.
Yeah.
But, I mean, can you think about that, dude? How his life just changed.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, he probably doesn't have to go to work again, I'd be willing to bet, because I'm sure that's the way that Pelosi got off that other charge.
Yeah.
Because that charge, that Part B of that charge, that 23153B, was the one with the injury. And they dropped it. They dismissed it. And it was, I'm trying to remember the terminology. It was judicial preference or some shit like that is what they call it. It was the same thing that they dropped it with him, you know. For those of you that don't know, Paul Pelosi got pulled over on July 9th of 2018, and he was charged with California Code 23152, Sections A and B, and then I believe it was 23103.5. Yeah. And the first two, those are the ones those are felony DUI charges. So somebody was injured in that accident. The Part B means there was an injury. Okay. Whether it's somebody in your vehicle or whether it's somebody you hit.
Yeah.
And then the third one was reckless driving involving alcohol. And that's what they ended up, he pled no contest. He was charged with that, did 3 months of DUI programming. And then 3 years of probation, which he got off on September 21st of 2021. Yeah. He was only off probation for 8 months for the same fucking thing. And then he pulls out his donor card when they ask him for his... Well, you saw him.
Yeah.
The guy couldn't even stand up. And then he refuses the breathalyzer. And they haul him down, and they end up doing a blood test on him at like 12:32. This is like 2.5 hours after the accident. And he's at a .082. So I mean, depending on how your body metabolizes alcohol, in 2 hours, your blood alcohol content can drop severely.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why people oftentimes refuse the breathalyzer, which I'm going to tell you all right now. This isn't legal advice. This is just my opinion. Don't ever blow.
Yeah.
Never. Don't ever blow. Make them take you and draw blood. Because by the time if you're guilty, then by the time you're in there, I used to have another guy that told me, because if you ever and this isn't advice, okay, people? These are just anecdotes. Don't take this seriously. Yes. But a buddy of mine always said, well, what you do is you always make sure that you keep a bottle of, a pint of unopened whiskey underneath your seat. He goes, if you get pulled over, he goes, you jump out and you take your keys and you chuck them. And he goes, and you grab that whiskey and you crack it open right in front of the cop while you're standing by the car. And he goes, and you guzzle the whole thing and you throw the bottle back in the car. And he goes, because then you don't have the keys, and they can't prove anything.
Yeah.
He's like, but really, what would happen? I always thought that's actually not a bad idea. I mean, because how can they prove it at that point?
Yeah,
you might get shot for jumping out of the fucking car, but they can't get you for an open container because you're outside the vehicle.
Yeah. And
then you don't have the keys. So, I mean, who's to prove? How are they to prove? Like,
that is true.
I mean, if you've been your BAC, and that's the thing, you guzzle that, your BAC is just going to keep rising. You know? You're going to get, by the time they got you in cuffs, but can they really? I mean, at that point, what can they arrest you for? You're not going to be driving home.
Yeah, no.
But I mean, if you just get out, and you obviously crack I don't know. Are they going to shoot you for drinking? I don't know.
No.
I always thought that was an interesting proposition. I was like,
Yeah.
that's a very interesting way to look at it, because really you're out of the vehicle. You don't have the keys to the car. They can't put you behind the wheel as having been drinking, because you just sat there and you just cracked it open and right in front of them drank it.
Yeah.
I don't know about slamming a whole pint of whiskey.
No. Oh my God.
I mean, I haven't done that since I was like
fucking I couldn't
18, 19 years old.
Yeah, I could do that when I was 18, 19, but now it's like...
I did a fifth one night, and that was stupid. Have you ever seen that guy called Shoe Nice?
No.
He's the weirdest cat, man. His name is Shoe Nice. I don't know where the name, but he guzzles. That's what he does. He guzzles like fifths of tequila, vodka, whiskey.
Okay.
It just gets wrecked. I mean, just wrecked. Like, he used to be a big deal, I guess. I've watched it. He can't hardly talk. I think he's got a wet brain.
Okay.
You know, but he's like, it's Shoe Nice. He'll crack a bottle and just,
oh my God.
the whole thing, you're just like, whoa. He'll drink anything too. I don't know what else he's drinking.
My God.
We should watch him. I haven't seen him in a while. I guess he fell out of grace with the YouTube world or something.
Yeah.
He might be, who knows if he's still even around. Drinking like that.
Yeah.
I think he had to go to rehab or some shit. But anyways, I don't know. What else is on the radar? Nothing?
Nah, it's all good, man.
Well, maybe we'll cut it off. We've been going for over an hour. Hopefully everything came through all right. If it didn't, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If it did, I hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, anything?
No.
All right. Well, we're out. Be
See
good,
you guys.
Be good or be good at it, and all things be kind and do no harm. And here we'll leave you with a little slideshow of some of our finest upstanding people, the pillars of the community.